All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks with the Passport. I am your host, Tony. All right, so we're about to get started. We're going to be discussing um, how to vet women and things. So, therefore, I'm over here doing it in my car because I do not have being able to have the lights on in the car. Not able to do that, but as you guys can see me kind of struggling a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it, how to vet women, because this is something that's very important. And I said I was gonna go ahead and do this, help you guys. This is not my information. This information has been compiled from a lot of men over the years and things. So we're going to go ahead and talk about it. First of all, a man should be defined by his purpose, and his purpose means a whole lot. It has a lot to do with his purpose in life, and things like that. First and foremost, so men are basically defined, by from purpose, as you heard me mention before. So even though a woman is not a purpose, you know, but let's go ahead and go down through it. So ground rules. Ground rules are actually very good to have. It's good to have ground rules. Um, these are what people mean to have ground rules. And when you start getting money and starting to move up economically, socially, through the ladder, through the chain, these are things that men of higher stature have. They have ground rules. And one of the main ground rules that I have, even though I'm still single right now, but one of them is no male friends and things. So this is one of them. Number two, no social media. Number three, no girl trips. Number four, when it come down to provocative attire, I don't like that when I'm with a woman that I'm dating. Or I mean, actually, if we're actually together, not dating, but if we're together, I don't like no provocative attire. So you know what that means. We're talking about clothing. Number five, this is another one too. When you're an item, you're together, especially you're married or looking to be married. The single girl thing, I do not like with a woman that hangs around single women, and the reason being is that you always heard the old saying, "Single women keep single women single." Number five, and these are my ground rules. Number five is no tattoos. I don't like tattoos on my women. I don't like tattoos, period. Tattoos, it takes away the natural beauty of a woman, in my opinion. Because when I see that tattoo, she automatically drops down in points right off the back. And when you see it, just to me, in my opinion, it allows her to look trashy, not classy. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing regards to that. So I don't like the tattoo thing at all, man. It's just not something that I like. And then the short hair thing, I know that's a preference. It's just, to me, it's not something that I want, you know what I'm saying? We're just talking about ground rules going before we start going into vetting, because this is very, very important though. So again, this is information that has been compiled of a lot of men, in regards to that. So I'm just gonna share with you guys some things in regards to that. So again, no male friends whatsoever. That's the first thing. Number two, no social media. Number 3, no girl trips. Now this again, these are ground rules now. Every man has their own ground rules. Just like women can have ground rules, men can have ground rules as well. Number 4, no provocative attire. I don't like them. I don't like women that I'm dating or being with wearing. I expect for her to look classy and dress really nice. You know what I'm saying? So, um, again, these are things. These are my ground rules now. Number 5, no single girl involvement. Number 6, no tattoos. Number 7, no short hair. That's just my personal preference. Some of you guys may have some other things. Now let's go into the vetting part. So first and foremost, this is what this is one of my qualifiers as well. How well does she, as a woman, listens and obey? That's number 1. Now this is not designed for beta male type guys. This is designed for men that have the confidence, have reached a certain status in their life, that know what they're looking for when it comes down to selecting a mate. And that's basically what it is, though, you know. Number 2, never date a woman that makes more money than you as well. This right here is another issue that I see a lot of men do, and I'm just here to say, man, and I made this mistake though as well. For a man, we must be in a relationship when we're making more than a woman. A woman would never respect you if she makes more money than you. I've seen this stuff. It's been disastrous. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Women would have more respect if you made more money than she does. If she makes more money than you, that means she has more of a say so. And like I said, I've seen guys do this stuff, man. And it's just gonna end bad. Most of these modern day relationships can't get past 2 years. You know. Number 3, never move in with a woman. Made this mistake before too, in my 20s. You know, because at that time, I didn't have the game like I know now. There was one radio personality, and some of you guys may have heard of him. His name was Tom Leykis, and he was a radio personality. I believe he was recording out west from California. And when I used to live in Arizona, I was in my early 30s, I believe. Yeah, I was in my early 30s when I was listening to Tom Leykis. And then when he was saying how we're not even supposed to be, as a man, married, you know, as far as moving in with a woman, because that's her domain. And when you try to regulate and trying to have some say so, even if you're contributing or even if you're paying majority of the bills, it's her domain. It's her spot. So you already know what that means, though. You can't dictate to somebody else when somebody else's spot. So this is why we say never move in with a woman. It looks better when you're moving a woman in with you. But he said for guys that's 20 up to 30, you shouldn't be trying to move a woman in early and things like that. So like I said, you guys can take this advice or not. It's all good, but that's the thing in regards to that. So I wouldn't do that at all. Let's go down the list. Okay, so here it is. So that's number 3. Number 4, never give a woman what they want. Give them what they need, but don't give them what they want. You know, there's an old saying goes, when a man goes out here trying to please a woman for her happiness, guess what? You have already lost, my friend. Straight like that. A lot of divorces have lead in divorce with that same thing. I know guys that have put women through college, giving her everything she wants, and they end up being in a divorce. It's that old saying that goes, man. You know what I'm saying? When you're just constantly for her happiness. This is one of the main reasons that a lot of Eastern women have it well over Western women. For the fact is that because they understand that it's about a man's happiness. When a man is happy, she should be happy. When you're trying to please a woman being happy, and I think this is something scriptural too, I do believe, don't quote me because I'm not, but like I said, it should be about a man's happiness. And the only group of women that I know seem to have that is a lot of women from the East, because they seem to understand men a whole lot better when it come down to a man and his happiness. Celebrating men, accepting male masculinity without these attacks on male, being toxic male and all this other kind of stuff. They have this type of rhetoric that is designed to um, push men down, make men that is masculine bad, because they want men to be like women. Since women can't be like men, they want the men to be like women. You see what I'm saying? So if the women out here, they can't be men. So what do? They want the man to be like women. They want to talk to you like she's your, like we're their girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? We're not. We're totally different. We're in logic most of the time, and it's just things that we're not about what women are on that, on that type of stuff. We're totally different when it comes down to that. Yeah, we have feelings, absolutely, but we're not on the same, and that's okay though. That's what makes a man, masculine, energy, right? We're talking about masculinity, So this is what this woke agenda stuff, all this type of stuff, and that's the thing that I don't agree with at all, and I would never agree with that. So before I go any further, this is one of the main reasons why the Democratic Party right now, they don't seem to understand why a lot of men are not getting on board with this policy type of thing, man. They're not getting on board with it. And why aren't they getting on board with it? Because once again, it's not of nature. It's not right. It's not something, because we're men, masculine. This is exactly what it is. And what is it that they want us to do? They want us to be more like women. That's exactly what it is, though, man. And we just can't sit up here and act and be like women and things. So you got to understand that we are not designed that. Do we love women? Absolutely. Do we want to protect and respect women? Absolutely. But at the same time, we can't sit up in here and not be men, not be masculine, because where you going to get your protection from? Because if we're running around here behaving and acting like women, who's going to protect it? Who's going to protect who? Men don't look for women for protection. We look for women for affection, not protection. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make any sense to me in regards to that. But going down the list anyway, let's go ahead and go further down the list, So talking about that, where was it? Number 4, never give a woman what you want. Number 5, let me see here. What else do we have here? So, buying houses with each other and all this other kind of stuff. I was told not to do any of that type of stuff. If a woman want to buy a house in her name, that's fine. I would never move into her place. I would much rather have my place, and then one day if I ever want to have a woman to move in with me, that's fine, that's cool. But I'm not going to go in and do that, all this buying a house and all this other stuff. Number 6, does she have a mother and a father who love each other? Now that right there, my friend, that's number 6. That is the question. That is the question. This is something that many of us as men do not look for when we are in a relationship or pretty much pursuing a relationship with a woman, does she have a mother and a father? First of all, does she have a mother and father? And number two, does she have a mother and a father that love each other? That is the question. What else? Number 7, is your girl's father, the girl that you're, or the woman that you're involved in, her father, does she see her father as the apple of her eye? And let's just be honest though, we're talking, if we're going to be strictly talking about the black community, we know over 80% of black women are single with children anyway, so most of them never even grown up to have a actual father in their life. And this is what really makes this thing, this is why you notice, this is one of the main reasons why the relationships and divorce rate is so high, especially in the black community. You know, it's really bad. It's really a dumpster fire, to keep it real. Most of your relationships today are dumpster fires and things like that because of this one thing. And that's why I'm looking, or I would ask the question, does she have a mother and a father who love each other? This is a very good, and we know this is something right here, because we can save ourselves a whole lot of heartache and a whole bunch of hurt by, this is the question right here. And then number 7, is your woman's father the apple of her eye? This is another question as well. Is she the apple of the eye? And this is something that we have to ask these type of questions, because if she's not, how a woman that never have a father, or how she treats her father, how her mother treats her father, is going to be an indication for you as well. And if she doesn't have a father, chances are that relationship can go sour. It can actually be a lot worse. So therefore, this vetting thing here is stuff that has been compiled of men that agree on this list. We're going to go down on here again. Number 8, how does the mother treat the husband and vice versa? This is another question. And we already know, man, this is, is she accommodating? Is she cooperative? Is she feminine? Is she fit? Is she a loving woman? Or go further than that, is she a virtuous woman? Right? These are things that we really have to ask the question, man, because I've never been married before in my life, and we already know where the divorce rate is, and most people can't get past 2 years. And this is why I say, to be honest with you, I know that most Western women, I'm going to keep it really real with you brothers, man, or you guys in general, they would not be able to pass this list, to keep it really real, man. And that's why I say you can save yourself a whole lot of heartache by just, these are questions and things that I observe. I was taught, if I'm going to get in a relationship with a woman, it will be best if she has a mother and a father. Without that equation together, you are in for a world of hurt somewhere down the line. I'm just going to keep it real. In the so-called black community, it's going to be 10 times worse. It's a dumpster fire. I wouldn't even chance it. I mentor and I tell younger guys this. I'm talking about Gen Z, millennial generation. I do talks with them too in regards to this stuff. I wish I would have had this thing growing up. It could have saved me a lot of problems, though, with most people. Saving problems, man, regards to this, though, because like I said, The goal should be a virtuous. You want to, if you're looking for a virtuous woman, that just summarizes a whole lot of things, regards to that. So let's just steady going down the line. Like I said before, we already know this type of stuff. Some of us already know this type of things, but because black men in America is a little bit more special than any other ethnic groups. And the reason why I'm saying this is that with black men, because a lot of us were raised under the matriarch society. And this is what really makes this situation a dumpster fire, as opposed to a patriarch society. Under a patriarch system, and black folks used to be under a patriarch system before, but we're talking 1950s, 1940s, 1930s, and down. We had a patriarch system back then. Now we have a matriarch system, and the matriarchal system today is set up as what? Women are in charge, women making all the money, and so forth. And a lot of us as men have came from a single woman with no father. Some of us had stepfathers, and they didn't give us this game. We didn't know what a lot of black men, especially, man. A lot of men they pick with their eyes, which is natural. But the problem is that we're missing key elements, because we as black men have a very, very small dating pool. And what I mean by that is that when you have 80% of black women that are single with children, what tends to happen is that when she has children from another man, it makes being in a relationship very, very difficult. It's a very difficult type of thing. And I always mentor young guys. Man, I had a guy in the car the other day, and things like that, and I was just giving him some advice in regards to some of the things on the vetting thing of how to vet the women, having go on ground rules and so forth. Because he just bought him a house. He's like 30 years old, going on 31, single guy. And I told him, man, I said, you better be careful, because I said the women ain't gonna be coming for you. And I said, you gotta have a game plan, and you gotta have some vetting. You gotta know how to vet women, because most, especially brothers, they don't know how to vet women very well, and they get into these bad situations. We just have to acknowledge that we have a very small dating pool. Most black men want to be with black women. The problem is simply this: a lot of them just do not qualify, though, because it's very, very hard. I tried dating women with children. I really have. I've talked to white, black, and other men that have also tried doing it. And you know what? Every last one of them had something negative to say when it came down to dating women with children. It just does not work, man. It doesn't work at all, because that baby's father he's going to resent you for trying to raise his children. It's a thankless job. I would not recommend it. I would not do it. And that's just my personal opinion, because there's a lot of things that go with that, dating women with children and stuff like that, man. So when you think of it, 80% of black women that's single with children, that automatically removes it off the dating pool. As a black man, a dating pool is very small. And then also, when that equation right there, and like I always said, here's another thing though too. And I got black women that are friends, and so forth. There is a fear on most black women, most of them, They fear being under a man's authority or being under a man that can take care of them. There's a fear that most black women have. And this is something I have asked. They do not trust, most black women do not trust being under a man, allowing a man to lead, allowing a man to take care of them. They do not believe in that at all. They have a fear. That's why they can't believe it. It's a fear thing. It really is. They rather go out here and take on jobs, take on careers, and all this other kind of stuff like that. But they fear, most sisters more so fear a man in charge that can rule, that can govern over their life. And what I'm trying to say, they have a fear of that. But I notice when women of the East, because they still up under a patriarch society. If you take American black women out of the equation, if we're talking about white and other, because again, if you ask the question, they wouldn't have a problem with it so much either, because they come from a patriarch society for the most part of it. But from us, we're a very special type of people when it comes down to black people, especially in America, because the matriarchy system, this is where the problem is, this is the major problem in regards to this that I see. It's a sisterhood of black women that, because of this sisterhood type of stuff, and what they tell other black women, that black men, this is a fear of being under his authority. This is a big problem, and this is one of the main reasons as to why we can never get like next to them and be like other ethnic groups. Other ethnic groups, because again, they grew up with their fathers. Most non-black women had their father or had been exposed to some type of male authority, versus black women, most of them have not. They don't know what it's like to have the damsel in distress. This is another issue. I get it, sisters. I do. I understand what's going on. But this is a major problem. This is a major hurdle. And that's why it wasn't designed for you to be in this situation that you in. But like I said, because of what has been taken from them is their femininity. They take on a masculine male role. And this is one of the main reasons why a lot of the relationships become sour. Now, I was talking to a friend of mine that is a black woman. She said that she met her, not met, but she met him before, but they started back kicking it. And she said that what he said, he told her that, I understand that you've been independent, which she has been. She goes out here, she pays her bills, she takes care of all 5 of her kids herself. This is her, black woman that's doing it. She takes care of her own kids, doing her own thing. Now, what she also said is that what he said, could you work on being a little bit more softer, being a little bit more feminine? Because this is my job as a man. I like you. I want to kick it with you. I want us to be together. But you have to learn how to release the reins and allow me to drive. You just sit on the passenger side and just chill. And this is what he was basically saying. I'm going to need you to learn to relax and allow yourself to be a little bit more feminine. Because again, and I get it. I mean, me and her had these conversations all the time, And this is no knocks against the sisters that had to grow up like this. I get it, And most black men get it. We get it. But again, this is, I'm just saying though, for those that are struggling, and he is willing to date her with the 5 kids. Go figure that. But again, she say, I don't need him to take care of the 5 kids. I take care of my own children. Okay, that's cool. But she knows how I'm laying. Me personally, I don't date women that have children, but there's many guys out there that do. And there's brothers out there that have children of their own. Now, if you got children of your own and you can take care of them and all that, power to you. I'm not, but if you are a single guy and you got options for real, but I'm just saying in the black community, we just don't have a lot of options out there. Our dating pools are very small, and we have to learn to accept these type of things though too. So you see the sisters too, they stepping out, they dating white men. I don't have a problem with that, interracial dating and all that. I don't have a problem with them doing that, because like I said, it's really on both sides though. Don't really have a lot of a large circle anymore. We should, but we don't. And I'm not gonna go into those reasons as to why. I'm not going to go into that. But bringing up some of the things on the vetting of the women, one of the things I told, he was a passenger of mine. One of the things I mentioned to him, I said, you should never share emotions with a woman. And I always say this to men. The problem I see with men, they talk too much, and they disclose too much information to women. And there's some things that should be left from them not knowing. And, you don't, and this is a valuable lesson. When, so when you share emotions with a woman, she loses a lot of respect for you. They just do, man. It is what it is. All this crap about, oh yeah, I like it when a man is no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in that situation. That's awful, man. Because this is about having the respect again, and that ain't what you want. That's not what you want. You don't want to be in that situation, right? I also told him this too. I'm not against marriage. But the way that a lot of marriage laws are set up in America, especially in alimony, as you start to further go up, you're making $100,000, $150,000, eventually $200,000 a year. You got to start thinking about your wealth and your future, because there are people out there that's looking to take from you. It's a transfer of wealth, and it's called alimony. And some of these states, like Illinois, California, and I do believe New York, and some of them have, if I'm correct, have lifetime alimony. And some of it is the marriage statutes are like 10 years or more, and she can go out and get a divorce, and you'll be paying for the rest of your life. It's a horrible way to end this. Get into a situation. I highly recommend not doing it. You got to know the marriage laws in these states and things like that. I'm just against it, especially the ones with the with the lifetime alimony. This is a major issue. As men, we have to talk about this stuff. I talk to this stuff about women too. I'm very open and candid about it. I'm not hiding any of this stuff. This is basically what it is, And we already know that how men are treated in America is not so great at all. The marriage laws, and everything like that, the marriage counseling, all slants, all bias, and things like that. It's not just unbiased where it's a neutral setting. It favors to the woman. And men, you got to know this type of stuff. I'm just saying. Talking about some information and stuff like that. This is this real good information on how to vet women and things like that. To find the best of them, it's that you really want a mother and a father, and things like that. Because if the daughter has been raised in a household with her mother and father, and how she interacts and how she treats her mother and how her mother treats her father and how she treats her daddy, it makes a it says it has a lot to do with it. I mean, look at these women that's out here stripping. There's a lot of reasons for them doing what they do. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of things of what they do. But if they're out here doing this and daddy issues and mommy issues or whatever the case may be, not judging, but if it's something about spending the rest of your life and stuff like that, it's going to be very difficult, especially here in America, especially as a black man too. It's even worse because we don't really have a lot going on like that, even with the money factor, because the more money you make, you still got the alimony thing. In a lot of these states, they have alimony. You have to look at it. You have to look at it for the laws and things like that. We got to keep it real. You have to really keep it real. This is one of the main reasons that I'm a big advocate on the passport and things. And you know where I'm about to go with this, because I don't have the confidence anymore of America in getting married like that. I survived it for a very, very long time, man. And I got friends that have been down there. It's a horrible thing to have to pay child support and alimony. You don't want to be in that situation. There's guys that's 40 years old that's going. It's a horrible thing, man. It's a horrible. And had they would have had how to vet women, had they would have had, and a lot of these guys, they didn't have the fathers to tell them this stuff. So this is really designed for like Zennial men, millennial guys that didn't have their daddies. They didn't have a father to say, hey, this is what it is, son. This is what I recommend is. This is what like I told him. He's only 30, man. I'm Generation X. He's like 30, I mean, it's great that he has a house, but you have to learn how to protect your assets, and you can't be foolish just inviting and having just any woman in there, because like I said, you're opening yourself up to be, let's say, transfer of wealth, and there's a lot of other negative things that can go bad as well too. We need to have these conversations as men on men. That's the thing about it. So it's a horrible thing to go through life and not having these things. I know how it is, because as black men, look, 80% of women that's single with children, no daddy. This is huge. Out of all the ethnic groups, everybody else come from pretty much a patriarch society. We are the only group that have a matriarch society. This is a problem. This is a major, major problem. I see it in the so-called black community every day. It's a dumpster fire, man. What's that one where they got the balloons propping, these old silly black relationship shows? Just dumpster fires as well, too. Dumpster fires, man. They really are. Popping the balloon. What do you think is going to happen with this, man? I'm over here looking, and I'm not looking to judge. I'm looking further beyond that. And I just shake my head. And I said, this is what the Zennials are doing? Just when it gets bad enough online dating, you can't. To me, this is like an all-time, a lower than a low. You know what I'm saying? You're going to evaluate, this is how it is? And hearing the conversations is bold. It's terrible, man. I don't know if it's theater or it's probably the real thing, because I know how a lot of young people, how they talk. They don't, I mean, we didn't have it. We didn't have it either when I was their age. None of us had it. We didn't have it though, man. Because mate selection we didn't have the science of mate selection. We didn't. Like I said, this stuff is a dumpster fire, man. We just gotta tell it like what it really is, though, man. So that's the thing about that, though. Agree with me or not, but like I said before, though, all this other shit that you gonna see over here on YouTube is just garbage. One thing about it, I don't do this for monetary reasons. I just doing this out the bottom of my heart. I want to see the brothers win for a change, man. That's all I'm doing it for. You think I care about all this stuff? Man, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm not off of this. I work. I'm right in the car right now waiting on my next ride. I'm out here working, man. What a lot of content creators make, and I can do that a day. I can make $200, $300, $400 a day or whatever. I can do the same thing though, but my money come a lot quicker. I ain't gotta wait once a month to get my paycheck. No knocks towards them, but what I'm saying is this is more designed to share information. I'm not trying to come up and get rich off this stuff. I'm in the car, man. I'm not sitting in no studio. I could do that, but I don't have no plans to do all this type of stuff. I'm just kind of giving you some fatherly advice. As a black man to a black man, and black men, you young black men definitely need it. Because the way it's not looking good right now, man. You're being played like suckers from the sisters. I'm just going to keep it real. And there's groups of, because the most of the sisters, I'm going to tell you this too, so that way we can be clear. And when we said we know the statistics out there from the ages of 20 and 30, single and childless, the statistics are alarming because it's well over 50%. Go figure that. Because these sisters are not picking you guys that are in that statistic. The ones that want to get a career, want to go into science, engineering, technology, math, or whatever it is, want to go into this type of stuff, they're not picking those type of brothers. They're picking those particular type of guys, we already know it, that we give the term Pookie and Ray Ray and all this other kind of stuff. Those are the type of guys that they're picking. They don't pick you until later on. That's why I say it doesn't make any sense. What I recommend for the brothers to start doing, for the younger brothers, I'm talking about for the younger brothers that are millennials and zennials. Those are the ones I'm talking to. I'm not dealing with Generation X, my generation. I'm not dealing with baby boomer guys. I'm talking about you younger guys, giving you some fatherly advice, what I would recommend to do. And to really be honest, like I said, ever since I was 18 years old, I've been out of the country. I'm just saying, you'll see the world for what it really is. And not only that you will see the world, you will have exposure and dealing with women. And a lot of times you'll be able to deal with better caliber of women versus dealing with people within your so-called neighborhood, because we don't even have a neighborhood. This is why it's a dumpster fire. Just gonna keep it real. You ain't gonna hear this on nothing else. All this other crap, these searching, flipping the channel surfing, it's all foolishness on there. They ain't talking about nothing. I know, because I checked and looked, and I was surprised to see what is on there. And some of it is alarming. It's scary to me. I said we can't even have a channel of our own where we can try to give advice to the younger brothers down there. Not talking bad on the sisters. I would even give some information and advice for the sisters too. I really would. I would tell the sisters pretty much the same thing, because we don't have. It's not really a whole lot though, I'll always tell the sisters, do not get pregnant. I tell the sisters too, do not get pregnant, because when you get pregnant with that baby, unless if you with that man, it's gonna be much harder for you trying to find somebody to wife you up. this is another thing. This is fatherly advice once again in regards to this. You do not want to be out here making babies far too soon. You do not want to do that. You know, it's the situation. And well, I never really grown up without my father, so what should I do? That's the question. This is what makes it very difficult, man. When you don't have a father, you're not used to dealing with in a patriarch society. You're not used to being under male authority. And for even with the ladies, well, what do I do? I mean, because I never had a daddy. I never had anybody that really cared about me. You know, and this is a sad thing though, man, when we really think about it. And I'm gonna have to do something special, and it's only gonna be one time. I'm not gonna constantly do this type of thing, but I just want to be able to put some stuff out there to create a little bit of balance and things, because like I said before, if you want my advice in regards to it, right now this is a woman issue right now. It's not a man issue so much, it's a woman issue, because as we always been saying, the men has been crying out of what we've been wanting from the sisters, and they're not giving it to us. It's like I'm out here looking for a particular car. I'm on the market. I want to buy it. But wherever I go, I can't seem to find the car that I'm looking for. And that's the problem. That's the problem. If we want to compare it to car shopping or house shopping, we're looking for value. We're looking for features on a particular product that we're looking for. And we want it to be reliable, dependable, with less mileage. That's what a man is. When he's shopping for a woman, this is what we're looking for. We're not looking for a car with high mileage that's all perfumed up, that just put some new tires on it, but the engine is bold. And we're looking. This is what we're looking for. If it was the sisters, y'all be on, and women in general, y'all be on the same thing. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for this type of stuff. Like I said, sooner or later, you're going to have to come to grips to what I'm saying. And for you brothers, you're going to have to come to grips with what I'm saying, though, you know, and things like that. Because it's sad. You see a lot of incel men growing up today. And what's sad about it is that you're leaving it all up here for America. You got to go. If the market cannot give it to you here, you got to go somewhere else. It's just how it is. I've been knowing this before I was 18 years old. What helped me out, because I had a guy that was older. He was older than me by 3 years. He was actually considered an older brother to me. And he put me on game a long time ago. He joined the military, joined the Marines. We know, and he went out there, been in every country in the world, told me how Thailand is, told me how these places were, told me he recommended me to go to Canada first. I did, because I was going to join the military right after he did. I was supposed to have went in there with flat feet and everything. It didn't really work out for me very well, though, you know. I was physically fit to join, but the feet issue, flat foot, and things like that. So, yeah. You know, and more than likely I would have been in Desert Storm, that's for sure, the first one, had I would have gone, had they would have accepted me in the Marines and stuff like that. So that's one way of doing it. Benefits are great. Some of the opportunities there, you better see the world. They teach you manhood, training, leadership, all that other great stuff. So, you know, things like that is what men need, young men especially. You need guidance and direction. You're going to mess up. You're going to make some bad choices. Hopefully the choices that you make are not too severely bad, as in having a child way too young, when, you know, because it's going to be much harder. I'm talking to you brothers too, man. You do not want to be out here making babies and things. And you know, you haven't even started your career. You know how much harder it is to start a career when you're in your 20s having a child, and then you're talking about going to school. You got to work twice as hard. You got to get out. Are you willing to do that, to go to work full time and go to school full time? That's a heavy workload right there. That's going to be a heavy workload. You just can't do it. You just can't do it, man. That's tough. I'm not going to say you can't, but it's very difficult. So if you don't create the child, if you don't do the female, in fact, what I would recommend for Eugenio, especially Eugenios, Gen Z, I would not recommend being in a relationship. Not until you're at least 30, 32, 33. You don't need to be in a relationship. No young man in their 20s should not be in a relationship with a woman at all. And I would give the same advice to the girls too, to the women. It would be the same advice. I would not get in a relationship at all. Not in your 20s at all, because you're not mature enough, or you do not have the finances in order to sustain it. You don't. You don't. You just don't. I wouldn't recommend doing it. I would not recommend doing it. But yeah, but other than that though, yeah, I'm about to get ready to wrap it up very soon, man. I just want to, while I'm over here waiting, man, I said I got time today, or the time tonight. But I wouldn't recommend young men, young brothers especially, to get into a relationship with a woman in their 20s, because we already know what's going to end up happening and things. If you get her pregnant, you pretty much have wrecked your life, your young life, because you're going to have to put your life on hold to raise your child. But if you don't have a child, and I'm giving you fatherly advice, this is my advice that I'm just giving, man. You can give advice, it's free. You know what I'm saying? You can either take it or you can leave it. That's fine. You don't want to be out here putting yourself in that situation just being hot and heavy. It's going to take great discipline. This is what I told my nephew. You know what I'm saying? I say the same stuff for us with the men, because there's certain special instructions as a man that I can give. There's things that women can give for women advice. But my stuff is mainly tailored for men mostly, because, again, a lot of these brothers that you sisters or should already know or may not know, they don't have a father or a role model in their life. They are surrounded by a lot of women. This is a problem, man. They weren't taught to model. They didn't have the model growing up. Most of these black men that you see, Zennial generation, they have their mamas. They grew up around women and their mothers and their aunties and their cousins, all these female, all this types of who did they get their marching orders from? Women. They learned this at a very young age. And this is one of the main reasons why sisters have problems with masculine men. They're not used to it. They don't like that. They're not used to that. You know what I'm saying? Coming from a man. When you're looking at certain type of women, look at Arab people. Arab women understand male masculinity very well. They understand the patriarch. They understand a lot of things. They grew up in that. Pretty much, if you're looking at Arab household, and I've lived around them, a lot of them have their father in their life. Their fathers are there most of the time, not all, but the majority of the time. When you look at Arab, Indian, and Asian, and so forth, African, they have a male dominant figure in their life for the boys and the girls. And this is one of the main reasons why women tend to look for a man that is a lot like their father, somebody that can protect them, somebody that can provide, someone that does these things, though, as opposed to being with a man that doesn't have their father in their life. And then what tends to happen? Act like a woman. Emotional males. And that's really what it is. That's all a thug really is. just an emotional female. As a man, he has the emotions of a female and has the physical attributes of a man. And this is what makes them dangerous, because with their strength, they can kill. See, this is, it should never have been set up this way. But I'm just saying, man, I'm just kind of giving advice on this type of stuff. You know, you can come back and listen to the video, hear what I had to say, how to pick, how to, you know. And one thing you got to understand about it, you don't want to pay a lot of stock in regards to women dating and all this other stuff, because the old saying goes like this, and I'm gonna say it again: it's never your girl, it's just your turn. Just enjoy your turn right now. You ain't got to go absolutely nuts or apes. Even though we have a shorter window or a shorter social circle when it comes down to dating. We don't really have a lot of virtuous or a lot of good stock out there, man. Unless if you're gonna really be in your career and make a lot of money, then, and that's not even a guarantee either. You have to know how to vet them. You know, women vet men all the time. Whether you guys know, when you're on your first date, they always bring up what they won't tolerate, what their ground rules and all the rest of this stuff. A man that don't have ground rules, you're selling into some trouble. A man that don't know how to vet women, you are selling into trouble. Trial and error is going to be an issue for you. You much rather know this stuff, as your father's supposed to teach their sons what to look for, how to date women, things like this, what some of the things. And I've always heard this: you have to look for a mother and a father. Because think about it, how is she going to treat you right when she never been exposed? She never been exposed to being in a relationship, right? With a man, because she never had it with her father. A lot of times the fathers are not there. All they know is the mother's side. You know, they don't know what that is. And then you're gonna mate with her, you're gonna hook up with that, because you're setting yourself up for failure. It would be better to look for a woman that have a mother and a father. In the black community, unfortunately, it's gonna be rare that you're gonna find that, man. Because if we're like 30% married, the good black women are already gone, man. They're off the market. So all you have left, you're kind of like, it's gonna be really difficult, man. It's not gonna be something easy. Take my advice. Get yourself together. I'm talking about for young people, especially young black men as well. Because see, with young black men, it's a little bit different than young white men and so forth. Because a lot of y'all got your father still, for the most part of it. You got more of your father or some type of male influence than black men. Most black men don't. Like I said, we know the statistics is not in the black man's favor or whatever. You don't have any type of male authority or male advice to be able to give you younger brothers, man. So this is one of the main reasons why, you want to watch shows with balloons and stuff like that. If that is what you think is gonna take you bring you to the promised land, it's not gonna take you to the promised land, man. But you sitting up here watching these shows, watching balloons pop, it's the most foolishness. It's a dumpster fire like never before, man. This is our hopefuls. This is what we have to look for, to get on here and watch balloons pop. This is terrible, man. This is terrible. No type of I can just tell by looking. The questions, I would actually have some vetting. I got vetting. Some of the stuff I share with you guys, those would be my questions right there. This is stuff here. Dating don't have to necessarily be bad. Because dating is really an interview, man. It's supposed to be an interview process, but it's supposed to be an interview, you know, really. If you're going to date, it's really supposed to be an interview. And you shouldn't be out here spending a lot of money on a date either. I'm going to say this again. I was told, don't go out here and spend the bank on a woman trying to get to know her. This is Johnny come late stuff, the dating thing. You don't want to do that. If she can't come to you at a coffee shop because you're just trying to get to know her, why go out here and give her a 3-course meal off your dime and time, man? It's horrible, man. That's a horrible position to be in. I just laugh, man. Fleming's, Roof Chris, Steak 48. You know, it's a funny thing to me though, man. And you wonder why your relationship goes sour though, you know? It's bad, man. It's bad. So you're not gonna find you'll get you a gold digger, because that's what you're attracting. You're gonna get you a gold digger, that's for sure. You know, you know, the ones with the guys pull up in the hot cars, and I know most of it is fake anyway. I laugh at it. It's fake, but in actuality, it's a little bit of reality in that though too, a little bit, you know. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and end the wrap, man. I'm way over. I thank you guys for some of y'all popping on and stuff like that. It's been cool. But you know, if you're listening to some of this stuff, man, if you're some guy out there, especially if you are a brother, a young brother at that, because like I said, we are a different type of people. You know, you white guys, man, no offense to you guys, man. A lot of you have a father in the home. No disrespects to you. You know, you are the one that's going to be most selected, whether you in the United States or out, man. I talk to white guys very candid like this because we have a different reality as opposed to a brother, you know, where we have to have, you know, let's just be real though. We're not socially accepted all over the world like you guys are, you know. So it's a different type of situation. Just kind of keeping it real, you know, all this other kind of stuff, you know. But, you know, when you look at white men in general, right? I'm going to say this before I go. No, this ain't no knocks and no slights and no disrespect. I got friends that are white as well. And we had these conversations as well. What I notice with white guys when they date sisters too, and I see some of the most pretty, some of the most beautiful sisters, but they can date some of the most, what they would call, if it was a brother that looked like that, they would call him a lame. White guy they go out with, they don't call him at all. They think they got something though. I just find it very interesting though, you know, regards to that though. So I've seen some white guys with some pretty beautiful sisters, man. You know, ones that would never go out with me at all. But the nerdiest of the white guys, he can get them. And we know what all that is about, though, man. And I'm just saying, I've been noticing things like that. But again, because he has social status in society for most whites, when it comes down to that, it's called the social status. So as you have to be like an entertainer just to be able to level that out a little bit. But it's a social status in society and things. But when you have no social status, and most blacks don't have social status in society, not as a whole, and things, it makes the dating even outside can be a little bit difficult depending on where you're going. So, you know, this is one of the main reasons with sisters, they can do it. They can do it, and the brothers can do it. I just see some of the brothers too, some of the white girls, you know, it's everybody got a thing. I'm not knocking it. I've been there and done it. I understand. I know, but it goes back to what I was saying before. as far as some fatherly advice, when you get yourself together, and I would highly recommend getting a passport. I would get into tech, cybersecurity, whatever it is. These are things that I'm recommending the brothers to do. And what this is designed to do is to build your social credit up, get your status up money-wise. Therefore, you will never have to settle ever again for a woman or a female. Number 3, I would recommend investing in precious metals. Number 4, before I go, I'm going to say this, I will also recommend for the young brothers to get into some type of dividends investing as well too. These things I would recommend. Cryptocurrency is number 5. I would recommend getting into these things early. You can do these things in your 20s. By the time you're 40, you will have a nice nest egg and things. You'll be set up very, very well if you were to spend the time and put it in now. Do the investment while you're young instead of wait. I'm just giving you, this is what black men older should be doing this. And I admit a lot of you were not raised around your father, so you don't have this stuff, you don't know this stuff. So this is my advice. This is what I recommend. Not to create babies before. This is for men and women. Don't get out here and create babies when you're in your 20s, 30s. You're at the best time of your life to be able to do something great. It's more difficult for you in that particular aspect. Learn how to vet. That's my other advice as well. To look for a woman that got a mother and a father. Look for them, how well they treat each other, most importantly, because those are major issues in regards to that. If she's dogging him out, that's going to be your future. You don't want that, and that will end up in a divorce or other. You don't want to get into these situations, though. It should be coming from a loving aspect, not a hatred or animosity or whatever like that. I would highly recommend getting your passport because, unfortunately, it's a dumpster fire here. It's already gone. The community has fallen. We don't have a community no more. That's why I keep saying it's a dumpster fire. And this is my honest opinion about this. And it's looking more factual when you start looking at our so-called communities. They are in ruin, and you don't have any type of patriarch rule at all, which is going to make it more of a problem. It's going to be, they're going to buck authority. It's horrible. You don't want to be in that situation. And I can speak on this very candidly, in regards to this. So that is pretty much it. I think I kind of covered most of the stuff like that. Just look at the video. Whether you agree or disagree, again, this is no knocks and no slights towards towards women, I should say, or towards the sisters, but I am speaking more of a concern in the so-called black community. The Democrats have destroyed our community, and I will say that, and I'll stand 10 toes down on that. They have done a very bad, poor, terrible job of destroying us. Yeah, I got a call in, so I'm going to go ahead and end this live. Peace. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.